Good morning, classmates and professor. This is my presentation for my final individual project. My topic is a corpus linguistic investigation of Western coverage on DeepSeek, analyzed using Matrix and ENCOMP. This is the contents of my presentation. Here comes the first part, introduction and motivation. As for the background of this topic, artificial intelligence becomes a key area of global development. DeepSeek is a Chinese AI company known for its high performance, low cost, open source large language models such as DeepSeek V2 and V3. It has attracted attention from major Western media. However, these reports do not only cover the company's technology, but also include discussions about competition, safety concern, and national identity. This raises an important question. How is DeepSeek represented in Western media? So this is my motivation to carry out this research. And the research question is, first, how is DeepSeek represented in Western media, and what kinds of ideas and values are reflected in their coverage? To explore those questions, this study combines corpus linguistics and critical discourse analysis. Second part is the theoretical framework. This study mainly applies the critical discourse analysis as a framework. Critical discourse analysis, as called as CDA, investigates how language use reproduces the perspectives, values, and ways of talking of the powerful, which may not be in the interest of the less powerful. There are another concept, cultural keywords. Which is important is that regular patterns of co-occurrence form semantic frames. Then let's come to the third part, methodology and data collection. This study collects 26,470 tokens of English language Western media texts about DeepSeek, and they comes from mainstream Western media such as BBC News, the New York Times, The Guardian, Reuters. In this study, ENCOG is used to do quotation and KWIC analysis, and Matrix is used to conduct keyword analysis, semantic analysis, and sentiment analysis. By combining data-driven analysis with critical reflection, this study aims to show how language shapes the way people understand Chinese AI and how media discourse may influence global views on technology, safety challenges, and competition. Then let's look into the result part. From the keyword analysis in DeepSeek-related media report, when compared with B and C written, we can see DeepSeek is the most prominent term in the corpus, which is consistent with the topic. We can divide those keywords into three categories: technology, competition, and governance and ethics. From the words related to technology, this corpus focuses on the capacities of DeepSeek in AI, industry chiefs, and modeling. From word related to competition, we can see the media coverage leads to compare DeepSeek with other platforms or apps from AI companies. So DeepSeek is often framed in contrast to dominant Western players.
From what related to governance and ethics, DeepSeek is often connected to risks related to privacy, ethics, and safety. Those terms may accuse DeepSeek of stealing information, or other illegal events. When we look into the collocates of the keyword concerns, we can see concerns often appears with security, privacy, risk, ethical, and potential.
Those words implies the concern on the rise of DeepSeek is divided into various regions and widely discussed. And concerns often occurs with government. It means the concern is often related with the statements or measures of governments of other countries. And here's an example that depicts South Korea's measures related to the security concerns. So to conclude, these collocational patterns frame DeepSeek not only as an advanced AI platform, but often as a potential source of ethical or political issues. When we look into the collocates of the keyword rivals, we can see rivals often occurs with complaint. It implies those rivals have stated their negative opinions on Chinese AI and expressed their frustration on this growing rival. This would suggest DeepSeek's threatening position in the global AI market. Also, rivals often occurs with cost. It is also one of the advantages of DeepSeek. And we can see from the example that this kind of comparison help construct a discourse of technological competition. When we look into the collocates of the keyword China, we can find it often occurs with export. And after the KWIC analysis of export, we see that China often occurs with export controls, export curbs, and export restrictions. Those imply that China's AI has been described as a threat that must be regulated and prevented by policy, which creates a containment narrative.
When we look into the distribution of tokens with positive, negative, and neutral semantic tags, we can see positive tagged words are more than negative tagged words. From the example positive items, we can see Western media's recognition of the technical capacities and some advantages of Chinese AI. And from negative items, we can see Western media implies a skeptical and alarmist tone in the media discourse.
When we analyze the top-ranked emotion-tagged words in the corpus, we find that there is a dominance of negative sentiment, words such as concerns, fears, shock, and attack. Those imply that although the semantic analysis indicates a high frequency of positive terms, the emotional tone of the corpus is largely shaped by concerns and anxieties. Then let's look into discussion part. Through the lens of CDA, Western media representations of DeepSeek reproduce not only the image of a rising technological platform, but also a potential geopolitical threat. In Western coverage, DeepSeek is frequently framed within a broader narrative of global AI competition, positioning China as both an innovator and a challenger to existing power structures. According to Williams' concept of cultural keywords, terms such as concerns, band, rivals, and export function as ideologically loaded keywords in the corpus. These would appear repeatedly in collocations such as privacy concern and export curbs, which consistently associate Chinese AI development with risk regulation and international tension. Such patterns reflect what Stubbs described as a semantic frame, in which lexical repetition reinforces a particular worldview. In this case, the frame emphasizes decision and containment rather than cooperation or innovation. As a result, the coverage of DeepSeek contributes to the reproduction of global hierarchies and legitimizes Western technological dominance.
When we compare the two pictures, Although positive words are more than negative words in the semantic analysis of the entire corpus, most of emotion tagged items were words with negative meanings. The possible reason is that mainstream Western reports avoid exaggerated word choice, but apply a technical and seemingly neutral style. However, the high frequency of negative emotion words builds an atmosphere of potential threat and distrust. In this way, the media conveys underlying negative emotions in a rational shell, which guides readers to be suspicious of Chinese AI.
Okay, let's come to the conclusion part. In conclusion, this corpus-based study reveals that Western media discourses construct DeepSeek not only as a technological actor, but also as a competitor and a threat. Through repeated patterns and ethical framing, the coverage reflects broader ideologies of suspicion, regulation, and global power competition. From a CDA perspective, such language use contributes to the reproduction of existing global hierarchies and reforms the dominance of Western narratives in the field of artificial intelligence. Despite the contribution of the study, there are also some limitations. First, the corpus are not large enough to find more typical patterns, such as a co-occurrence with DeepSeek. Second, it does not explore the differences between corpus from different media sources, which is significant to improve the generalizability of the results. In the future research, it should add more corpus data and compare corpus from different sources, such as official media, technical media, and fashion media. Okay, here are the references. Thank you for watching.